meditation. So, you know, meditation is the practice of paying attention. And so that's all we get to do is just sit here and pay attention. And the word mindfulness comes really, can be broken down into mind and full. And I love the word mindfulness actually, because it contains the paradox of life, because when we're in the busyness of our everyday lives, our mind is full of all the distracting thoughts and things. And then the practice of mindfulness-based meditation is to create the conditions where your mind is full of just one thing. And so it's very difficult to clear your mind of all things. So I want to say that to set your expectation, because some people think that meditation is about controlling your thoughts or making your mind blank. But in my experience, it's impossible to do. Thoughts come in, whether you ask them to or not. And you can't control the nature of them anyhow. But through being willing to just sit and be still and to pay attention on the experience of the breath or the body, just paying attention on one thing, what happens is the mind state can soften, I guess, or slow down. That's more accurate. Your brain waves are starting to slow down. And from that slowing down state, it becomes incompatible. The conditions that you're creating become incompatible with the energetic static of your everyday thinking. So you're actually changing the environment so that the busy thoughts are incompatible with that environment. They can't grow there, right? So, but what can grow in that space are inspired thoughts. And we've talked about this before, how the word inspire holds in it the root form spire, which is the same spire that you find in respiration. And so the act of respiration is breathing in the spirit, the divine. And so as we connect with our breath and give our mind the breath as the one thing that we're focusing on, then that creates the conditions for the inspired mind to come in. And so we may get information about what this is for, you know, how's it helping us. So maybe for our meditation this evening, maybe bring to mind something that is a bother or a stressor or a grievance that you would like to have some peace around. And with that, as you bring it to mind, something that you want to have peace around, you can also set the willingness for it to be different, and give it permission to be different. So we're not making it be different. We're not even requesting it to be different. We're just bringing it to mind and being willing, giving it permission to be different, being willing for it to be different, to create the conditions for it to just do what it wants to do, which it's trying to do. It's trying to rise up in order to be in the past, because that's all that's ever happening anyway. Things are rising and passing away. Things are rising and passing away, which the breath teaches us. It shows us that, because the breath, we can't keep or hold a breath, right? Everything's just rising and passing away. So I always begin with coming to sit. So I feel that the posture is very important in cultivating the state. So seeing as you're sitting on the chairs, your feet are flat on the ground. So check in with that. It's good to be a little bit, I think you look like you're in a good spot. It's good to be a little bit further away from the back of the seat, so you're not relying. Jill's laughing. So you're not relying on the support, because then you're really having an intimate relationship with how your body is doing. So we're not slumping, where it's more like I was going to say a holding. It's not even really a holding. It's like arranging your body in a certain way where it's active. It's an active position, and yet it's a relaxed position. So again, through meditation, we just keep finding paradoxes, or, finding the balance through the yin and the yang of it, the back and the front of it, the up and the down of it. Active yet relaxed. So again, feet are squarely planted on the ground, or if you're sitting cross-legged, then from here you relax. You do kind of slump a bit. You relax your sit bones and your tailbone, so the lower back opens. And then from here, you give the heart permission to lift. And the analogy that I like to use is the heart's lifting like a flower towards the sun. And this can keep lifting. You can keep working on that lifting, and it creates that space between the vertebra and the spine, and you can feel it. Maybe you even want to lift your head just subtly a little bit more, pulling the spine away from the hips. And what can happen here naturally is that the head can kick back. As we lift the heart, the head might kick back. So we want to tuck the chin ever so slightly, just to make sure that there's no pinching in the back of the head, and that the top of your head is running parallel to the sky, to the sun that the heart is reaching towards. And so for me, naturally, even as I'm going through this with you now, my body wants to sigh because it knows what's coming. And so from here, the shoulders can just relax away from the ears. So in a conscious way, soften the shoulders, even roll them back. Let the elbows hang. And you can either lay your hands face down on your thighs for grounding, which maybe you feel like that would be good for moving through the grievance, or that which is coming to mind that you would like peace around. And then from here, just ask your shoulders to arrange themselves over the hips, just to make sure. And this is fun because you're asking your body to arrange itself. And so it's almost as though you're practicing becoming the witness to the manifested self, the body. And I want to say that this position is not rigid. Again, it's active and yet relaxed. And so you're giving the body permission to cultivate a relaxation, a softness in the face of the active seated position. And if you haven't already, eyelids just rest over your eyes. Just resting, not shutting, not closing. There's no pinching. Just eyelids resting over eyes. Just resting. And sometimes too, I notice in the busyness of our day that our tongue can kind of get a little thick, and it tends to fill the back of the throat. So I'm going to ask you to bring awareness to that and soften the tongue and create space between the back of your throat and the root of your tongue. So play with that a little bit. And perhaps you notice a subtle difference as the air starts to move down the back of the throat and into the lungs. And just take a second to feel the circumference of your body. Just feel the whole circumference, its shape. Exploring the shape of your own body. Perhaps you notice where the skin meets the clothing, feeling of the chair or the ground. And notice where the air ends and the body begins. Where the body ends and the air begins. And so just notice how you're completely held by the air in the most perfect amount. And just as the air is an expression of the great wisdom, the great love, the great force that created all of this in the first place. Just relax a little bit more into the air's embrace. Just a little bit more. Remember, the air is holding you in just the right amount. Almost as though you're sitting in its lap, and you can just relax into the embrace. Perfectly held. And now bring your attention to the experience of the breath right here at the nostrils. Notice which nostril you're breathing in and out of. Is it the left one? Is it the right one? Is it both? And so just notice how the inhale draws the external air in to make it part of your inner alchemy. And the exhale naturally offers that inner alchemy to the external world. It offers something back. And so with every inhale, we receive the support of the external world. Receiving the gift, inviting it in. As without our understanding or permission, it just becomes part of the inner alchemy, inner chemistry. And then the exhale returns the support, giving the carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere. To become part of the inner alchemy of the trees and other green things. And on the next exhale, just give the exhale permission to go all the way into the lower belly, even squeezing the air out right at the end. Just let it go and watch how the inhale is born out of that natural exhale. Out of that complete exhale. It's almost as though we're exhaling from the nose, through the lower belly, all the way to the toes even. Squeezing the air out. Letting it go. Just watching how the inhale is born out of that full and complete exhale. Exhaling from nose, through the lower belly, to toes. Letting it go. The inhale naturally moves from the toes all the way back to the nose. And now just give the breath permission to be lazy, long, and luxurious. allowing the natural ebb and flow of your breathing to just wash away any residual tension or stress. Gripping or holding. Let the gentle ebb and flow soften the brow, smooth the forehead, relax the eyes, soften the jaw, the throat, the back of the head and the neck. The shoulders, smoothing out any of the burdens of the day, the week, past month, past year. Through all time, through all space if you want to. And let the gentle ebb and flow of this lazy, luxurious, long breathing just send a wave of relaxation, softening and smoothing down the back, past the shoulders, into the middle back and the lower back, into the hips. Allow the smooth ebb and flow. Soften and relax from your throat down into the heart. Asking your precious heart to soften and relax now. It's okay, the past pains, the past hurts are over. The ground holds you. The air embraces you. The breath supports you. And the love and the wisdom and the forces that have all of this working, conspiring to support your aliveness, to contribute to your aliveness in this moment. And so the heart can relax now, soften and open now. So before the wave of relaxation moves into the belly, maybe just pause here at the heart and just listen. Listen to the song of your own heart beating. Perhaps it's just a simple thump, thump, thump in the chest. Perhaps that's the listening. That's the song you're hearing. And if your heart had a song or had a sound or a hum, what would it be? If your heart had a sound, a song, a hum, what would it be? And listen. Perhaps you can hear it with a subtle set of ears, unmanifested ears. What would be your heart's song? Listen. And if you want to, you can hum or sing or tone the sound back to your heart with the soundless voice there in your mind. And on your next lazy and luxurious long breath, just allow that feeling of relaxation move into the belly, flow into the upper belly, softening and relaxing, flowing into the lower belly, softening and relaxing. Moving into the legs, through the knees, all the way to the ankles, to the feet, into each of the toes, and the toenails. And allow the next sweeping breath, long, lazy, luxurious breath, just to bring a wave of softening and relaxation into the shoulders, down the arms, through the elbows, all the way to the wrists, into the hands and the palms, into each finger, the fingernails. And now consider that the body is simply a container, a vessel through which the breath flows from the nose to the toes, from the toes to be returned to the nose. And perhaps that gentle hum, the sweet song, the sound of the heart expands to reverberate through the whole vessel. And so the body becomes an instrument. An instrument of love, actually. And now just gently bring your attention to the top of your head. And from the top of your head, bring your attention to the great light of the sun. And from the great light of the sun, from that height, exhale that long, luxurious breath all the way down through the body, the vessel, the instrument. So the body can start to hum and sing and be attuned to that beautiful, bright, life-giving force. All the way down, deep into the earth. And then inhaling from the earth all the way back through the body, passing through the body, all the way back to the sun, to the bright light of the sun. And so exhaling heaven to earth. Inhaling earth to heaven. Long and luxurious, lazy breaths. Balancing and harmonizing, clearing and cleansing. Revitalizing and strengthening. Illuminating. Healing. And I'm asking this beautiful healing light to go where it's needed. Again, to bring healing to the past, to that which is over. So we can be free. Free to receive the abundance, the gifts, and the grace of the present moment. Undoing the past to be free here in the present. And at the end of the next exhale, just gently return your attention to your hands. Bring all of your attention now to your hands. What's it like to occupy these hands? And these arms, and these shoulders, and this chest, and this belly, and this back, and to occupy the throat, the head, to see out through these eyes, to occupy these legs, and these feet, and these toes. And so just feel again what it is to inhabit this body completely. What's it like to experience your own aliveness in this moment? Just notice. And at the end of the next exhale, let's raise our hands to meet in front of the heart in what's commonly called the prayer position. Thumbs just gently touching the sternum. So gently, so softly. And once again, come home to the sound of your own heart beating. And now go ahead and take 3 conscious, life-affirming breaths. From nose to toes if you want to, toes back to nose if you want to. Smiling at the energy, smiling at the air, at the earth, at the self, at each other, at life, at love, at wisdom, at God, at all that came before and all that will be. Just smiling. And now go ahead and acknowledge the light that shines here within your own center, within your own being. And let's just offer a bow to this light. And we'll offer a wish, a prayer that all beings everywhere remember their true light. To know what it is to be happy, whole and complete, at peace. And so then you can relax your hands. Gently bring your attention to the light that's shining on the other side of your eyelids, the light that's been here this whole time. And then when you're ready, you can gently begin to blink your eyes open to let in the light, to come back to this space using your physical sight.